Hello and welcome to the Temple of Tomes with your host Indie Comics Jones. Today is October 5th, 2021, and this is episode 432, I believe. Okay, today we're going to talk about Nerdrotic's Calexit and Indie Comics Jones' Texit. What I want to just mention is about a little over a year ago, I started listening to Nerdrotic. I'm a big fan of his. I know he doesn't know who the heck I am, but he lives in California. I live in Texas, and we are planning on swapping states. And I want to go into a little bit about this because I think it's kind of an interesting subject. He's got hundreds of thousands of subscribers. I don't even have 300. I mean, I'm way low 200s. So if anybody stumbles upon this video, they probably won't know what the heck is going on and who this guy is. Who is this Indie Comics Jones? I do comic book reviews for mostly, I stay away from the DC and Marvel, mostly because most of those are pretty bad. I try to pick comics that I think are going to be good, and every once in a while I do get a clunker. But that aside, we're going to take a look at this. So if you do stumble upon this, this is not a Nerdrotic channel. It is not approved by him. It is not authorized by him. This is going to go over an email I sent to him over a year ago. And we're going to go through this. As you know, he is planning on moving to Texas. And he's had it with California. He's had a lot of bad luck in California. And I get it. I totally get it. Because I have had a lot of bad luck in Texas for totally different reasons, and I'm looking to go back to California. So over a year ago, when he was talking about going to different places, I wanted to warn him about Texas, what things are going on here, and what to expect, and things like that in general. And I know that he's really considering Texas very heavily. I think he's about to buy a house here if he hasn't already. And one of the reasons is like comics divisions there. He loves it. We've got your boy Zach down in McAllen. He seems to like it okay down there. And then we have a number of Twitch streamers also located in Austin and around. And there's other people that are obviously on YouTube that are in Texas as well. I just can't think of them at the moment, or I do not have a list readily available. But what we're going to look at here, and I think you might find this interesting, or maybe not. You might hate this. I don't know. But let's go ahead and take a look at the letter I sent over a year ago to Nerdrotic. I emailed him. Actually, it wasn't a letter, but an email. And listing reasons why I think he should not consider going to Texas. But it sounds like he is going to go anyway. I don't think he never responded, so I doubt if he ever read it. I did dig it up, and it was in my sent file, so here we go. All right, first of all, you can see the date on here, August 30th, 2020. And I am writing to Gary at nerdrotic.com. Said, "Hi, Gary. Former California resident, now in Texas for 5 years. Well, it's more than 6 now. Moved with the company as I'm close to retiring, and my wife worked there as well. So we got to look at our situation a little. Both of us are very close to retirement, and there were retirement benefits for staying with the company, as well as I had one child in college and another one about to start college. So for both of us to be out of work at the same time, if we didn't get something right away, it would have been quite a financial burden. So we decided to go to Texas. The company really built it up like it was the greatest thing since sliced bread. The cost of living was super low. There's only 2 bad months out of the year. I mean, on and on and on. It's like Irvine, California. You can't go wrong. Go here. Well, let me tell you, there's a lot here to consider. Just like California, the grass might be greener on the other side, but I've been back to California. I go there as much as I can, and I know that's where I should be. So, okay, I moved with the company as I was close to retiring. My wife worked there as well. I know a lot of gamers and YouTubers have moved to Texas, or maybe they were here already and you're considering such a move. I can't wait to leave Texas. Things to consider about Texas. The weather is awful and dangerous, and sometimes both. Summer is sometimes 5 to 6 months long. During the summer, you can't take a cold shower because the underground water is like warm, and the pool can get as warm as a spa. No kidding. I mean, it can be close to 100 degrees in that water. When it isn't uncomfortably hot, you'll deal with high winds, tornado warnings, flooding, and very large hail, sometimes all at the same time, same day. If you like being outdoors a lot, you're pretty much screwed. The outdoorsmen here go up to Oklahoma and Arkansas to do their hobbies, so so many events are canceled here because of the weather. Now, I just want to mention that I live in North Texas. Texas is big. I mean, it's like the same size of, say, France. It's huge. It takes me, if I'm going west, it takes me 10 hours of driving just to get out of the state. I mean, it is crazy big. And the major cities, they're all spread out. I live between Dallas and Fort Worth. So I've got two major cities pretty close by. So there's some things to go to and to do. But you've got like these months where it's just inhospitable outside. I mean, my outdoor activities during these months are usually limited to early morning, like in July and August. Usually I'm trying to get up before sunrise and be in by 8 a.m. And after that, it just warms up. I just like cooler weather. I am just a cool weather person. And basically, summers can last from May through the beginning of November sometimes. So there is very little break. It stays hot all night. It's that type of deal. So, okay, let's move on from the weather. You can tell I do not like it here. Now, he's considering San Antonio. And San Antonio, oddly enough, middle of the state, has probably the most moderate weather of the whole state as far as I can tell. Houston gets really, really muggy and hot up where we are. We've got all kinds of different weather, but it stays hot a lot of the time. And winter seems a very short period of time. And going west, it's very dry, deserty, flat. And going east, there's a little bit more woods. But that's like pretty much around the very eastern side of the state, I would say. Okay, let's talk about some financial stuff. Sales tax is about the same as California. It's about a penny less than California. And property tax starts at 2% and go up 10% a year. We pay 2.1% in our county. The next county over, which is only like a quarter mile from us, they pay 2.4%. Our property tax, and this was over a year ago, went up $1,200. That's more than my folks paid at their house in California. That was my increase, was more than what they pay for the full year in property tax there. So there are trade-offs, and be wary of that. And this 2.1% is low. That's Denton County. Tarrant County, which is right next to us, that's where Arlington, that's where all the sports teams are, is 2.4%. So you can see that's quite a hike. For instance, if you buy, say, I'll make it easy, you buy a house for $250,000, your income tax, if you can find one for that price in the metros areas, your income tax or your property tax would be $5,000 a year. And then it could go up 10%. So you go up $500 each year. So there is that to consider. That seems to escalate. And once you hit 65, they freeze it. Okay, there's lots of toll roads up here, at least in my area. So I end up on what they call frontage roads to avoid the extra taxation. And there's also a toll if I take someone or go to the DFW airport. In and out, it's at least $2-3 each time. That just drops someone off. there's no laying on, you can't go outside and lay on the grass because there's fire ants all over the place and you don't know where they are. They show up after there's rain, they'll make a big mound there. And there's other varmints and vermin abound. I mean, you'd be surprised of the critters that are around here. I've seen these, I don't know what the heck they are. They're like big hornets. They kind of look like those murder hornets, but they're black, and I've seen them red, and they look like they sting. And stay clear away from that for sure. The workmanship we found here is at times is really shoddy. I mean, it's horrible. You have to like call them back out or try to get someone else to fix it, and just very unreliable at times. There are some people that do very good work, but it seems like our experiences have not been very good. And with severe weather conditions, things wear out very quickly. I'm talking about the outside of your home. Things just get weathered really quickly. Your landscaping takes a beating. It just all kinds of stuff. And if you're renting an apartment, rents aren't cheap here. And maybe if you live in an undesirable area, they're a lot less expensive. But even for like a 2-bedroom in my city, I think a 2-bedroom runs $2,000. So that's not that cheap. Plus utilities, and then we'll get to utilities in a little bit as well. We have a newer home. It was built in 2013, and we've had to replace so many appliances and electronic features it boggles the mind. And this is true. I mean, we've had our water heaters go bad. We've had one of the air conditioner units go out. I've got 2 air conditioner units, like big, massive things. The refrigerator died. The dishwasher started leaking. We had to replace that. Just all kinds of stuff. Microwave oven, the pool controls. We have a swimming pool. We didn't want to get a swimming pool, but it was like the only thing available, and we bought the house as is with the pool. Just on and on and on. It's crazy. And workers can be pricey here too, because just to get a hold of someone to come out in time, there's labor shortages here. Plenty of jobs, at the $15 wage mark, but other than that, I think it's a little more difficult. There's no mountains here. It is flat. It's like Bakersfield without mountains. I mean, at least Bakersfield's got mountains like an hour away. It is just flat, all directions. They talk about a hill country. I don't think I ever made it out to there. And there are some slight hills. They are not mountains, though. And so driving around here, you lose direction very easily. It's easy to be going the wrong direction thinking you're going, a certain way, because there's no geographic landmarks to base anything on. Okay, let's see, where are we here? Okay, there's no mountains. Okay, drivers are as bad as California drivers, only they drive 20 to 30 miles per hour. Tailgating is a national pastime here. I don't get this, but they will be on your bumper even if you're heading into a red light. It is just amazing to me how close people drive here. And the lanes next to you could be open, and they won't move over and go around you. And forget about people using turn signals here. If they do use it, usually they've already braked and come to a stop and are making their turn, and then they'll turn on their turn signal. There's construction everywhere, and especially our area, probably other areas as well, and it seems like these projects take forever. And then they're okay for a while, and then they start again in the same area and doing something else. It is just crazy. And the signage, I don't think I put anything about signage here, but you'll be going the wrong way all the time when you first get here. It is, the signage is so bad. And with the construction, they'll leave stuff up. They'll put stuff that you can't see until you're driven past it or it's too late to turn. So yeah, signage is a big issue here. Yeah, it's hard to find good, dependable workmen to come out and work. Yep. Internet installation was a nightmare, and yeah, we switched a couple times. We had Verizon, then it turned into Frontier, then it turned into DirecTV, then it turned into Spectrum, and everybody had issues, and it was horrible. No good Mexican food here. Now, I guess if you grew up here, you're used to the Tex-Mex. but they put a lot of queso on it. I just don't like it. So my go-to dishes in this case are usually brisket tacos or brisket quesadillas. Air quality is not as good as you would think. It's very windy here, and most of the time you get pollen, dust, fertilizer particles, oil, refinery smoke, and certain times of the year, the dust cloud from the Sierra Desert comes on over. We just went through that, I think, in June, July. I'm on allergy medicine full time because of severe sinus infections I get here. Some folks that have moved here with us had to move back because of respiratory issues. Now, I know people with asthma seem to struggle. We got a gentleman next door moved in about a year ago. He's from Tennessee, and he's a mountain biker, and he has not been able to go mountain biking here because his asthma is so bad. And we've got mountain bike trails right around our lake. I live about 200 yards from a lake. Beautiful mountain bike trails. That we picked well when we chose our spot here, because I go hiking in the woods there by the lake. But like I said, let me take a quick drink. He has not been able to mountain bike at all, and his kids are now being affected as well. The water here is very minerally, so it affects your water system. The water generally doesn't taste very good, and you've got to flush your water heaters once a year for sure, or else they'll rot out like what happened to ours. Like we bought this house in end of 2015. It was the model home, and they hadn't really been taking good maintenance in it. So 3 years later, basically, we had to get new water heaters, and they stick them up in the attic. I had 2 of them up there, cost a small fortune. Okay, produce is not that good or fresh for the most part. They do grow grapefruit here. However, the whole crop was wiped out by the February Texas freeze. The 500-year freeze that we had here was good, not killed every plant just about in our yard. And most of the fruit they get is from California, believe it or not. They get some stuff from Florida as well. They have Texas wine, but it isn't that good. I'm telling you, California's got it beat hands down. And up in the hill country, they advertise there, but there's a lot of Texans that'll fly to Napa on a heartbeat to go. The beer here is pretty decent. There's some good microbreweries here, and Yuling, if you know Yuling beer or lager, it's brewed in Pittsburgh, was only available east of the Mississippi. They just opened a brewery in Fort Worth, so we're getting that here now, and that's a great beer. I really like that beer. So they do have Yuling. Hopefully that'll make it to California as well soon. Energy is cheaper. Yes, electric energy is a lot cheaper here. However, you use a ton more of it, so your bills most likely are going to be higher. There's just no way around that. And if you go green, if you want to do the, whatever they call it, I don't want to say recyclable energy, whatever it's called, the green energy, that's even more expensive. Not a lot of people have solar panels here, and most of its reason is for the winds and the hail. They get baseball-sized hail from time to time. Fortunately, we have not gotten struck with that, so we still have our original roof. They say expect to change your roof every 10 years. So they keep that in mind. Okay, nothing is close. And I don't know if this is for all of Texas, but what we've experienced is all the stores, or depending on where you live, you can live close to a group of stores, but we have to drive like 5 miles to Target, and it's 8 miles to Trader Joe's, the opposite direction. And even though gas is 50% cheaper, I think we drive 3 times further, end up driving 3 times further for us. This is my situation. So we are not saving on fuel, that's for sure. We're not saving on the tolls on the roads. There's toll roads here. Let's see. There's no natural amenities. Like California has the redwoods, it's got Yosemite, it's got Lake Tahoe, it's got the Sierra Nevadas, the John Muir Trail. There's the Pacific Crest Trail. You've got all the oceans and the beautiful deserts. You even got Death Valley. And you've got an easy access to Las Vegas as well if it's from the Southern California. From Northern California, you can hit Reno. So, you got some extra entertainment stuff there. They do have Indian casinos out here, going into Oklahoma, and then certain places in Texas as well. But yeah, there's the natural amenities just aren't here. They do have the Gulf Coast, but I don't hear a lot of people going down to the beaches to use the beaches there, except for spring break. And I just think that's maybe the only time where the weather's pleasant enough. If you own a retail store here, if you plan on opening a comic book store, be prepared. There's an inventory tax levied once a year on what you have in your store. So there you go. My company was always pretty, I would say, liberal, not super, but they came to Texas, they became very woke. And that surprised me because everybody was expecting just the opposite. So, yeah, keep that in mind. It's not as conservative as you think it is here. I mean, I went out one day and they were flying the rainbow flag because we got like 13th most diverse company in the corporation in the country or something. I don't know. Really weird. Yeah. Home insurance here is super expensive because of all the damages that can happen from tornadoes and windstorms and hail, and just the heat could crack in your foundations. Yeah, it's very expensive. The last quote, you have to really shop around every single year because they just jack it up. My last quote before we switched was $4,100. We got it down to $2,600 for this year. Live entertainment here is very pricey because there's no competition. No one comes out to Dallas, Houston, very rarely. Just not. They don't. They do, and when they do come out, it's super expensive. I mean, when they had YouTube playing at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, those tickets were starting like at $300. Those was like nosebleed, and they were going up to $600. And there's a lot of people here that are very, very wealthy. They can afford that, and it totally outstrips the supply of such things, so it just drives the price up even higher. Now, we were going to go see this comedian that my wife really likes in downtown Dallas, and seats were $200 a seat, where you could see her in, say, the Hermosa Beach Comedy and Magic Club for $30 a seat. So yeah, there's some gouging going on up here just because the entertainment very lacking. You just don't get the flow that you do in some other major metropolitan areas. Now I'm talking like New York, I'm talking like California, more pleasant places to be around. I think people just don't want to come to Texas because of the weather, honestly, and because of the travel. It's if you're trying to do a tour of Texas, it's going to take you a long time. Okay, in my opinion, Branson, Missouri is better than Texas. I was hoping to get a Winchester and a pair of pearl-handled Colts when I got here. Never happened. Boy, I mean, I thought everybody would be doing all kinds of things, but they do have gun ranges here and such. Stuff's expensive here. Maybe if you go out in the boonies, it's not as bad, but yeah, I just never got around to it. It's not as plentiful as you would think. As far as Texas goes, San Antonio is probably the nicest city, especially on the north side of San Antonio. It's limited by the things you can do, though. I live in the suburbs between Dallas and Fort Worth called Flower Mound, as that's the name of my city, right off Grapevine Lake. Post Malone has a place a few blocks from me. Well, he did have it, and then he backed out of it. So when I wrote this, he was going to buy the entire floor of a 15-story luxury condo overlooking the Grapevine Lake, and then you could see all the way into Dallas. It was such a nice view up there. So he's supposedly paid $5 million for it, but there were such delays on finishing that building that he backed out of it. So it never happened, unfortunately for that. But he grew up just across the lake from where I am now. All right, there's good things about Texas, and here they are. They have In-N-Out Burger here. They also have Whataburger, which is, Texans love that one. I don't think it really compares, but that's, that's their acquired taste. That's my acquired taste, so I'll get there. Trader Joe's has arrived here, so thank God, because I do most of my shopping there. They do have good beef brisket and barbecue. Very good. Lots of places to choose from. The Dodgers, the Rams, the Lakers, the Kings come and play here at least once a year. So we've got that going on. Every once in a while I can get a ticket and go and watch them play. There's no state income tax, but the state manages to get its pound of flesh in other ways, as we found out. And these incredible prices that you pay on the extra payment that you need for electricity and whatnot, it goes a long way as well. Property tax is high too. Just want to mention that there was an initiative that was on the ballot for state income tax, and it got a lot of votes, and I was kind of surprised. I was surprised how many it got. Let me just put it that way. I can't remember what the percentage was, but it was shocking how much. I want to say it went over 30% people voting for state income tax. Crazy. It does have Congressman Dan Crenshaw, the POTUS in 2024, hopefully, but I think he's probably kind of fallen off the map now. And I wrote in here, and this is a prediction, and it's coming true. Now I'm going back to California next year, moving to the Torrance area. True and true. It's a nice enclave with good weather, sights, and people. Yeah, mostly conservative, not too crazy there. I'm also going back there because my two kids, my parents, my sisters, and friends are all there. I'm native-born California. I miss my kids in the Pacific Ocean daily. I'll be about 2 miles from the Pacific Ocean and getting sea breezes every day. Just wonderful. Be able to open the windows. You can't open your windows here. It's just crazy. Okay, I spoke with my real estate agent there last week. Okay, this is old information. Home inventory. We were able to get a place. It's a fixer. But there's no exodus going on there like what Gary saw in San Francisco. There's nothing. Everybody's staying put as far as I can tell. Now, here are some other places I was considering besides California. The Santa Fe, New Mexico. I have a friend there. Very good friend there. It's a great place. George Martin lives there. George R.R. Martin lives there. Flagstaff, Arizona, a little higher up, doesn't get the hot temperatures. It's in the pines there. Bellingham, Washington. I spent a year of my youth there. I loved it there. Just wonderful. It's getting a little pricey, but still beautiful area. Lots to do there. Yeah, good outdoor life. McMinnville, Oregon. Awesome place. I have an uncle that lives there. They have this crazy great air museum there. And it's got the Spruce Goose, which was in Long Beach, and they moved it up there. They have a lot of NASA things too. They have capsules from Apollo and Gemini and things like that. And the other place is Bend, Oregon. It's got a great outdoor life. I like being outdoors a lot. Here, it just doesn't happen. I used to run a lot, and here I just hike in the mornings, and I just quit for the day. So there you go. That is the roundup. That's what I sent Gary Nerdrotic over a year ago, August 30th, 2020. Obviously, he did not look at it. He didn't mention it. He didn't write me back, so I'm pretty sure he didn't look at it. It's not obvious, but I'm a nobody on the screen. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed it, and maybe this gives you food for thought. If you think you're going to Texas, there might be some things on there that you like about that I didn't like, but maybe not. Texas is growing leaps and bounds and gained 2 seats in the House of Representatives. It is getting bluer. That's because the main metro areas like Austin is totally blue. Downtown Dallas. Fort Worth is still more conservative, and it is a nice town. Fort Worth is nice. If I had to choose between living in Dallas or Fort Worth, I would definitely pick Fort Worth. It's less expensive, and it's less crowded. Just they just seem to have more of a hometown feel to it. Houston is sprawling. And San Antonio, it's a nice city. It is. It's got the Riverwalk, it's got the Alamo, and then it's pretty much a big drop off of entertainment. There was an area there called Pearl that seemed to be up and coming, and that had a lot of entertainment possibilities. But with COVID slapping down everything, it's hard to tell where that will end up. But San Antonio, North San Antonio, and in San Antonio, it's pretty nice. They do have some homeless population there. I'm not kidding. They do have a drug problem, a little bit. You see that with the homeless population there. But they pretty much keep them off the Riverwalk, so you can go down there and enjoy it a lot with the family or just your friends, and not have to worry getting bothered. And that's my spiel. That's my spiel. So thanks for stopping by and listening to Nerdrotic's Calexit and Indie Comics Jones Texit. We're transitioning at almost the same time. I wish I could like high five him as he's leaving California and I'm going in, or he's going to Texas and I'm going out of Texas. But I think we're going to be off by like 4 to 5 weeks. Unfortunately, I would have gone to his Las Vegas meeting, but I had to go to a wedding that weekend, and it just didn't work out. Unfortunately, I was actually in California in Del Mar, beautiful weather that day. Oh yes. So if he has something else, hopefully, if he has in San Antonio before I leave, I'll make it. But I'm only here about a month more, and if he has in Las Vegas again, I'll surely be there. So I have time on my side. All right, so this is Indie Comics Jones from the Temple of Tomes. If you liked what you saw, please check me out again. I got lots of comic book reviews out there, and maybe I can show you something that you'd be interested in reading. But other than that, please like this video if you liked it. Please subscribe if you wish. I'd love to have your subscription. And please leave comments if you wish. I'll probably get a lot of backlash, but I'm okay. Just my opinion, you know? And we all should be entitled to our own opinions. Hey, this is Indie Comics Jones from the Temple of Tomes, bidding you adieu.